Hello everyone, this is Taryn with Wonderfully Made Handcrafting, and today I'm working on day 6 of By the Wall for Gods on the Brink devotional. Now, this is a very simple page, but I absolutely love it. It is probably my favorite page I've done for this kit so far, just because it's nice and bold and bright. And yet again, I am using this Noah Alpha. I love this font, and I'm also using this ledger paper. Now, I think I need to get some paper that is the same kind of color because I like how it's the same color as my Bible pages. I think Tomoe River paper is going to be about the same. So I might invest in that because I've really been enjoying working outside of my Bible and then inserting it in afterward. So anyways, what I am doing right now is just putting some bold words that are describing God's love to Israel. In Hosea 2:19, it says, "And I will betroth you to me forever. I will betroth you to me in righteousness and in justice, in steadfast love and in mercy." And so righteousness was not going to fit on this little page. So I decided to just shorten it to righteous, just, steadfast love, and mercy. And so with this font, some of the words have that extra frill. And so I'm going to need to have a little bit more spacing. So it might look a little bit wonky, but it's okay because I like the wonky of this font. And also I have little wonky hearts I'm going to add afterward. So here I am just adding those words to go along with this verse. What I'm doing is stamping them with some VersaFine ink, and then I'm using clear embossing powder on top, and then I will heat set that and it'll make this nice, shiny, bold text. And so I will do that with all these words, and I'm trying to get the spacing correct in between each one of these words, but you'll see in the end how it all comes together. If you've never worked outside of your Bible on a separate page, I highly suggest you try it out at least once or twice. It is so much easier for me, and that is why you just keep on seeing this ledger paper. I mean, I love ledger paper to begin with, but it's really just the convenience of working outside my Bible, adding all that chunk if I want to, or just having the ability to stamp better. There's so many benefits to this, and that is why you keep seeing me working out of my Bible and then inserting it in afterward. So now I am spelling out love. I've decided to put it kind of over to the right-hand side and just putting it right under fast. That is a really fun little lowercase f. I was a little confused by it at first, honestly, but I like how it all comes together. Now you'll see the D and the F both have a little frilly bottom, and so I was a little concerned about how I was going to stamp that out, but I tried to just leave the spacing enough to have those frills. If you didn't want the frills, you could also just mask it off, but I really liked keeping all of them. So now we're turning to these little wonky hearts that I'm going to be creating. And so I am spraying some mixed media paper. This is just a scrap I had. I'm doing distress mica stains. I'm doing regular distress sprays. Also that spun sugar distress oxide, some Lindy's. I'm basically using it all here. So I am trying to dry it off in between because I know I want a lot of layers. I also wanted to spray the back in case you saw the back side of the hearts the way I am going to be putting them on. It's almost like I'm going to be putting them on like butterfly wings. You know when I put a butterfly in my Bible and I just do that center body? That's the same kind of idea that I'm using with these hearts. So I did kind of try to dry this off well, but it wasn't dry enough. So I'm using these little heart stamps and adding some embossing on top. But as you see here, the embossing stuck to everything still, even though I used that little powder and also tried to dry it. It just was soaked through the paper, and so I should have dried it off further, but it added texture, and I do see some of the hearts, especially on the left-hand side and when I add more color. So now I am grabbing these multimedia marks, and I'm going to add just a little bit of black in these hearts with some black VersaFine ink. I want to add some more color to this paper, so I grab my Amsterdam inks. Now that first color is very similar to what I have going on in the background already, but I love this hot pink color, and especially how it goes on the left-hand side. I ended up adding a little bit more on the right because it just was too liquidy, and so it was kind of falling off, but I decided to just leave it how it is. But definitely on the left-hand side, I'm absolutely loving it. So I'm trying to dry it off between layers again here, making sure that it is really nice and dry before I start adding some more layers. So I grabbed this bubble background stamp and I am stamping it around. I used picked raspberry as the color, and you can definitely see it in the lighter areas. It is a little bit trickier to see in the darker spaces on the top of that paper. I didn't want the black stamping to be the only black on these hearts, so I grabbed a Neo Color 2 crayon and I'm just making little tiny crosses, and then I'm going to add some water with the paintbrush. And yes, when I don't have water on my table, I just take my little spray bottle and dip my paintbrush in, and I like just how that flows and it's not so perfect anymore. And I will also add some white dots or flecks of paint with my Posca paint pen. So after this, I'm going to dry it off yet again and dab up any part that is a little bit wet, and I will fold it over just like I'm a kindergartner and make some hearts. Now, what's kind of exciting about making hearts this way is since I folded it all inward, I don't really know what I'm catching when I'm creating these hearts, and I decide to just cut it out as it is and be surprised how they turn out. There is a lot less black than I was kind of hoping for on these hearts because I'm going to be adding some black sewing on there, and the titles are so bold on the page. So I decided to come in with my Neo Color 2 and kind of define those hearts a little bit better and adding just an outline. And I will go back to my little spray bottle and paintbrush and dip that in and kind of make those lines flow a little bit better. Now after this, I will just take these hearts to my sewing machine and do a vertical line down the middle. I don't put that on camera just because my sewing machine would take up the whole entire screen and be hard anyhow. But it's a very simple step, just right down the middle. And now I'm coming back to this ledger paper using my scrapbook.com's version of score tape and adding this to my page. With the score tape, it is super sticky. I know Mindy only uses or pulls down half of the tape. That is definitely a way to do it. I am risky and I just pull it all off at once and just slip that into the gutter and then smooth it down, and it hasn't been bad for me yet. But if it were to be bad, it would probably be really bad. So maybe Mindy's idea is better. So anyways, I'm coming back to these hearts, just putting a little bit of that score tape down the center. That's going to keep them nice and sticky on there and have a little bit of movement. I like how they kind of look like little butterfly wings. And I'm going to layer this little one with that one on top. And then this page will be done. If you've enjoyed this process video, please like and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me over on Instagram at Wonderfully Made Handcrafting. I hope you have a wonderful day, guys. Bye.